Hey everybody, this is Art here, just posting a video about music reading. And this is specifically on DSs, DCs, repeats, and endings. Yeah, first, second ending, etc. So those are basically the instructions on where to go next on the music. So first example here is you got to understand what the repeat sign looks like. That's the first thing. So the repeat sign looks like this. It's a thick bar, thin bar, colon. Here's another one that's facing the other direction. So that means when you go through the song this way and then the next line this way, once you encounter this repeat sign, that means you're going to go back to the other repeat sign, which is right here. And you repeat that line. Okay, that's the very first. Now, if there is no other repeat sign like this pointing to the right, then that means you go all the way to the start, all the way to the start of the song. If you didn't see this, okay? And I'll give examples of that a little later on. Okay, so if you understand the repeat sign, we are now going to take a look at endings. So on the second page here, let's see if I have an ending here. No. I'm gonna go to another one. Okay, this one, if you could see, let me go to edit mode first. Now this bracket right here that has the number 1 and this bracket right here that has the number 2, those are called endings. Now with the number 1, it's going to be called the first ending. Number 2, it's going to be called the second ending. Make sense? Okay. Now in this particular situation, you start reading here, and then you encounter the first ending and you go ahead and play that. But you're going to stop right here, and guess what you find? The repeat sign, right? So once you have played this measure, you're going to go all the way to the beginning. So previously on the other music, I wanted you to find the other repeat sign. Let's pretend there's another repeat sign there. If there was a repeat sign there, instead of going to the very top, then you're going to go here and then start reading this way again. Okay? But in this case, we do not see any other repeat sign. So that means we go all the way to the beginning. Okay? So that's the first ending. Now the second ending, when you have played the first ending and you go all the way here, then you start reading this way again. Now, when you encounter the next line again, which have these, the first ending right there blocking it, since you already have done the first ending, you're going to leapfrog to the second ending because you have already done the first ending. So that means you're going to leapfrog it and skip to where it says number 2 and then play that. Okay? Fine right here and these bars right here, that means the ending of the song. But obviously, the song is not that short. We have more verses to do, right? So we're only going to use those markings when we approach the end of the song. This song has 3 verses, so the chorus after the 3rd verse, then you end. And that is where you end. Okay? Right here. So let's go on. Okay, the first time you do the second ending, then you go ahead and do the verse, and you read here, you read here, you read here. Now this signal is next. This means, oops, this means da capo. And that's Italian, meaning to the top or to the beginning. DC, da capo. That means you go all the way back to the beginning and play this again. First ending, repeat, do it again. Second ending, and guess what? You go and do the second verse because you already did the first verse. Get it? Then you go all the way to the end again, and it says DC. Then you read the top again. First, repeat, second ending, and guess what? You're gonna go do the third verse, right? You read that again, DC again, go to the beginning, first and second ending. But since you already done the third verse, then you're gonna end right there, and that's it. Okay, I hope that made sense. Oh my. Anyway, all right. Let me do another example. Let's do this first. Okay. So you start right here. Then you see a repeat sign, right? So that means you go all the way to the top again and do this again. Now, vocally speaking, we're gonna do verse 2 now because we just did verse 1, vocally speaking, okay? Okay, so after the second verse, so let's pretend you're singing this, it says to refrain right here. Usually you won't find this specific instructions. This is just a church music and stuff, so it has a lot of verses. So sometimes they leave instructions right there, but usually you won't find that. But anyways, so let's pretend you already repeated it. So you're gonna go on to the second page. Oops. Second page. Okay, so this is the refrain. You read there, you read there, you read there. Here we go again. The endings right here. So what this means, 1, 2, the first and second time you come here, you do this bracket, whatever's under that bracket. Okay? So what does it say right here at the end of the bracket? There's instructions right there. DC, again, it stands for da capo, meaning to go to the beginning. To go to the beginning, okay? So you go again on the first page. I'm not going to do that right now. You're going to go to the first page again and go all the way in the beginning and play that thing again. Okay? Now, the second time, this is the second time you already did this first ending, you do it again, DC to verse 3 and 5, right? Etc., etc. The final time, when you're going to end the song, then again, once you're done reading here, you leapfrog to where it says final ending. Sometimes it's called Coda too, the final ending, Coda, okay? Since you already done this ending, you don't need to do it again, okay? This is the final. Then you read up to the ending, and you know the ending, it's finished, or fine, because of that thin line and dark line right there. That means the song's done. Okay? I hope that makes sense. And then another example, it combines everything so far, this piece. Okay, so let's go through it. So from the beginning, this is the intro. Take a note of this sign. We will go back to that later. Take a note of that sign, okay? You read there, you read there, you read there. Well, here it is again. First ending, right? So you play, and at the end it says DS. That stands for del segno in Italian. That means to the sign. What's that sign? This. The fancy looking S, that it looks like an S. That's the fancy sign that we're gonna go to. DS again, del segno, to the sign, which is this right there. Then you play it again, second time, right? Since this is the second time, you're not going to play what's underneath the first ending. You're gonna leapfrog that into the second through fourth ending, right? So you play that measure. It has an instruction here, 2 verses. That's a courtesy. Usually you don't see that. But after you're done doing the second through fourth ending, you leapfrog again, because this is the final ending. We're not ending it yet. So there's a second page to this. You just leapfrog that into the second page. And here's the second page, verse 1. Play that, play that, play that, and you have an instruction again, DS, again, del segno, to that funny looking S, that fancy S, okay? And you follow instructions there, and you do verse 2 and verse 3, and there it is again, DS, okay? Go back to the sign. So this song only has 3 verses, so let's pretend we already sang the third verse. I'm gonna go back to the first page. And we're gonna go to the sign and play this, play this, play this. Now, since we've exhausted the first ending and the second through fourth ending, we're gonna go to the final ending, or again, sometimes it's called coda, and I'll show you of an example of a coda. Then you play this, but you notice it warns you that there is a repeat sign there. So once you play this, there's a repeat sign there. That means you go back to the other repeat sign and play this again. Then you may go to the very last measure, and it says fine right there. That means it's done. It's finished. I hope that made sense. One last example that has the coda in it. So, I think we're gonna go back to this. Let's see if it hold on. There you go. Very good. Hold on. We just played this. So, right here, take note of those signs. There's the del segno right there. So you play, as is from the beginning. Now, look at this instruction. DS al coda. That means del segno al coda. In English means to the sign, then to the coda. Okay? So that means we're gonna go to the sign and play this again. And then where you see here to coda, then you leapfrog everything else and skip right to the coda. This sign right here, like a target sign, that is the sign of the coda. So when it says to coda, you go to the circle with the crosshairs and you play. Okay, this is the second. Then you play it. There's the first ending again, a repeat sign. You go back to the repeat sign. And since you already done the first ending, you leapfrog to the second ending. You go play, be careful because that's warning you that you're gonna go back to that. You're gonna go play this again, first ending with a repeat sign. That means you go to the back to the repeat sign, play it again, and then leapfrog to the second ending, and then you're done. Okay, I hope that made sense. Thank you for listening. Any questions? Just put it in the comments below. Thank you very much.